I was the chair of the U.S. Hispanic Chamber of Commerce in 2000, so a little time ago. But I was the first elected woman chair of that chamber. I will tell you it was challenging because I was Puerto Rican. And I will say, truthfully, they said, you know, majority of our business owners are Mexican American. And I am all about inclusion, right? Mm-hmm. We are a community. We're not monolithic, but we are a community and we have to empower each other. And so when I was elected the chair of the USHEC, my first order of business was having a board meeting in Mexico, which was very exciting. And then we went to Costa Rica. And then I traveled all over the country, helping small businesses meet with corporate America so they can get procurement opportunities. So that was very exciting. And we had a lot of fun.
Hello, Money Movers. Welcome to another exciting episode of Her Money Moves. We are in Miami, Florida, in downtown Brickell, this beautiful tech hub called Mana Tech. And I am overjoyed about my guest today, Elizabeth Oliver-Farrow. She is a powerhouse Puerto Rican who has accomplished so much in her career, a huge role model of mine. And she is the board chair of the Latino Corporate Directors Association, LCDA, which I recently became a member. And, you know, that's where we met. Former CEO, well, rewired CEO of the Oliver Group. She spends her time between Miami and DC and Mexico. And gosh, this is incredible to have you here. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Staci, I'm delighted to join you in Her Money Moves. It was fun meeting you in Dallas, and I'm excited to be with you today in Miami.
So you have so much valuable information and an incredible story. Can you start sharing that with our audience? Because it's so inspirational and you've done so much around the world to impact others.
Well, I'm going to tell you about the little girl in the South Bronx that, worked at the New York Public Library and read all these autobiographies about powerful men, the Carnegies, the Rockefellers, all these industrialists. And I said, where are the women, right? And I thought to myself then, I was about 14 years old, and I said, I'm going to be a business person when I grow up. Now, clearly, I had no clue what that meant, but I was determined. And, when I got out of school, I started working in a bank as a secretary in a secretarial pool, which is the way women started then in business, and then went to work for a public relations company. When I worked at the bank, I wasn't being promoted, and I was told, because you're Puerto Rican, you're probably going to have babies and it's not worth training you. That's what they told me. And that was a really motivator for me. Okay, I can't stay here. I have to move on. And I went to work for a small public relations company that, represented Walt Disney and all these movie companies, and had a lot of fun. But I really learned the trade. I was the PRP, the Puerto Rican public relations person. Left that job and was hired by Playboy Clubs International to open their New York Playboy Club. And we opened in New York, just off Fifth Avenue, opened clubs in Ocho Rios, and we traveled all over the country. Now, that was a weird time for me because I loved the job. It was very challenging. It was corporate. But my family said, she's working for Playboy. Oh my God. But it was a job promoting, and I was promoting the women executives at the club, the casinos, the restaurants. So it was very challenging. But I said, at one point I said, by the time I'm 30, I'm going to start my business. And I did. And Playboy was my first account. And I started out of my studio apartment with a credit card in Manhattan. And then, as I said, built up the business, moved to Madison Avenue, and was doing very, very well. But all along the way, always engaged in our community. I was the chair of the U.S. Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, the first elected Latina to be the chair of the U.S.
Yes.
I was the first Latina to be elected to the board of CareFirst, BlueCross, BlueShield. in the DMV. That's a big health insurer. And I was the chair of the DC Chamber of Commerce and the chair of the National Education Association Foundation Building Network, mentoring and elevating our community. And I became the chair of the Hispanic College Fund. So along the way, building my business, but building our community, elevating our community, because I felt, first of all, it's part of my DNA. It's who I am. That's the way I was raised. And so my passion is empowering our community to do well, do good, and do well for themselves as well.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, that's my mission as well, to empower women to dream bigger and achieve things we never knew possible. And you did that. So can you share about your board journey and what are some tips and strategies for some of our audience members who, aspire to be on boards?
So, it's interesting. When I got on my first boards were nonprofits. And I say that's really important not to discount that experience with nonprofits, because you learn how to, first of all, you should learn Robert's rules of, engaging in a boardroom and doing how to manage a board meeting. And I learned that while I was in the nonprofit space, the chair of the U.S. Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, representing Hispanic businesses all over the country, right? So I got engaged with that, and my leadership in those organizations elevated my profile. The board work came because of my work on these nonprofits. That's part of why LCDA is so important, because it's educating companies to understand what we bring to the table. If you don't include Latinos in your boardroom, you're leaving money on the table.
Yep.
Bottom line. We have an amazing, community that spends trillions of dollars.
Yes.
Right. So let's have them at the policy, table in the boardroom so that they can help you.
Mm-hmm. And what are some of the skill sets that you can share for aspiring Latinos who, want to be on boards? What can they do now in their career? Can you kind of walk us through that?
So let's talk about where they are in their journey, okay? Because it depends. If you're in the C-suite, in a corporate environment, it's good to find an angel or someone within the company that's going to help look out for you for those openings. But outside of that, look outside of your company to organizations like LCDA. We have a Board Ready Institute, like the Chambers of Commerce. But these organizations, it's not just joining, it's getting engaged, becoming part of a committee, chairing a committee. So you build up your leadership skills, right? The most important thing for me is building that leadership skill, right? Being able to walk into the boardroom, listen, don't think you know everything, listen, do your homework before you walk into the boardroom, and learn about the business. If you're interested in a company, for instance, and you have your eyes set on being part of that organization, take a look at who's in that boardroom. Take a look what their strategy is. Read their annual report. Do your homework, right? And then if there's someone on that board that you can connect with, reach out, right? Don't say, I want to get into that boardroom, but let them get to know you and learn about your skills. So listening skills, and they're looking for individuals with financial expertise, with governance expertise, with HR expertise. So I never sought out to be on a board. People sought me, and that was from my elevating my profile, not intentionally, but because I was out there in the community advocating for our community. Subsequently, the Chambers of Commerce came to me, the leadership said, I think you could lead this organization. And I said, well, I don't know if I can help. I will be glad to participate and learn when to say no, right? That's another important thing you have to remember. But for me, it was exciting because, when I joined the healthcare board, I was a client for many years. In my staff, all were part of the health insurer. And what it did when I walked into that boardroom was gave me a voice in terms of policy. Why is it important to be in a boardroom? Policy. That's where policy is created. The management team implements, right? You kind of coordinate, you work together on strategy, but they implement it. But if there's not a voice in the boardroom saying, hey, are we including this demographic, Latinos and Latinas? And why not? Are they in the C-suite? Are your general counsels or your outside firms Latino? Do you have anybody on the team in a leadership position? And if not, why not? Of course, you don't do that the minute you walk into the boardroom. That's building relationships with your colleagues. And when you build those relationships and that trust, it will come. And I think that was the most important thing that I learned. It was intimidating walking into a 27 board, member boardroom and thinking, okay, I'm a client of the health insurer, but I really don't understand the business. I learned the business. It was listening skills, very important, but I also built the coalitions and talked about the issues. And, those sidebars were really important, but also understanding my Robert's rules of conducting a board meeting really led me to the executive committee of the board because I knew what I was talking about, moving motions and getting the support, the seconds, and, so we can ratify, a strategy.
Can you, so Robert's rules, where do we learn more about this?
Just go online. Robert's Rules of Doing Business. It's been around for a long time, and it was interesting. It tells you how to conduct a meeting, how to make a motion, how to get a second, and so forth. And that was important because in boardrooms where I walked in, the nonprofits who kind of initially ran it like, okay, we're friends around the table, and everybody's talking at the same time. You don't really move the agenda forward if you don't have a structure. You don't have the agenda. You don't have you want to have items that you want to vote on to continue to grow the organization, right? I mentioned I'm the vice chair of the Hispanic Scholarship Fund. We run it as a business. It's a phenomenal organization. And I will tell you, it was like maybe a $6 million organization. It's like over $120 million organization now. Fidel Vargas runs it. He was a board member and, he runs it. It's a business. But the business that empowers young leaders, right? From high school to college to career.
Yes. And I have a personal, bond with the Hispanic Scholarship Fund. I was in the inaugural cohort of the Gates Millennium Scholars.
Brava.
Thank you. And it truly was a game changer for me. And I was a young single mom, working 2 jobs, trying to figure out how I'm even going to pay tuition. And that really, really changed our life.
And see, now you're helping other women. And it's men and women, right? Let's, because men will listen to your podcast. I'm so excited you do this. This is about financial literacy, but also empowering our community. That's why you're giving back. So you're a scholar, you benefited, and you're giving back. And, I said it before, this is part of my DNA. This is the kind of people we want to empower, those that give back, that understand that as you're going up that ladder, lift them up. I have colleagues that are just walking into the boardroom and, they go, we can't advocate now. And I understand they're walking in and they're learning the space. They're learning, they're understanding the room and the dynamics of the room, right? So understand how to read your colleagues, but go in there do your homework, read that board book, read everything about any challenges the company is going through. And then don't be afraid to ask a question, and don't act like you've got the answer. You're learning and you're probing. You're not running the company, right? But what's exciting is as you learn about a business and then you really start to strategize and you bring something to the table because they're looking for something. What are you bringing? What's the value added that you're bringing to the table? Is it IT? Is it AI? Is it financial? Is it community? Is it coalition building? What are you bringing to the table, right? And think about that, because that's really when they're looking for board members, they're looking for maybe an expertise that they don't have in the boardroom. Of course, they can hire, but you want a board member that can help have that conversation in the room, right? And say, what do you think? So I love this work. I am blessed, I think, because I'm fortunate. Again, I'm the little kid from the South Bronx, but I've been blessed to be able to live my life, enjoy my life, build my business, be a philanthropist, an investor, and engage with incredible people throughout my life. I have a great network of women all over the country, globally, through IWF, the International Women's Forum, which has
please
chapters.
Share a little bit about the IWF, because I hadn't heard about it.
The International Women's Forum was founded in New York in 1979, and then for women of a certain achievement. All right, so pretty much focused on women that had achieved a certain level of success, so they can have honest dialogue about their life and challenges and where they want to go and what else do they want to do with their lives. And then we have a fellows program too. If you're not quite at the level where they would nominate you, because you need 2 women members in good standing to nominate you to the chapter, then there's the fellows programs that will help develop your skills. And we have the mayor of the city of Miami-Dade was a fellow. She went through the fellows program. I have a young friend who's with Fannie Mae that I'm helping to get into the fellows program, and she's high achieving. It's just you have to be at a certain level, but it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. So it's in Dallas. You and I met in Dallas at the LCDA convening. And I encourage you to come to the convening that's going to be here in Miami, November 14th through the 16th.
I can't wait. It's already on my calendar.
Yes, because it's going to be incredible. And again, this is building your network. You'll do your podcast. You'll meet incredible people there. And it's elevating our profile, elevating your profile, teaching people about how we can do and what we can do better.
Wow. So you've done so much to help propel others forward and elevate others. And can you share a few stories that have really made an impact and left a legacy?
My legacy of those of others, I have to share with you that I go around the country, fortunate enough, whether it's speaking or at meetings, and I meet young people that are now incredible careers because they've gone through the Hispanic Scholarship Fund program. They've received a scholarship or they've become scholars. And, people go, well, what does that mean? Well, we're not just a scholarship organization. It provides services. Like it'll take a young person from high school, bring them on a college campus so they can learn, this is what it looks like. And then they're helped with building their resume, meeting Hispanic heroes, people in leadership, so they're motivated. And then when they apply and they become a scholar, HSF scholar, it's not only the scholarship, but it's the support services, the leadership. We bring them to LA or Washington for the National Leadership Forum. We are building their skill set all the time. It's that support. We're helping them with their parents who might not understand. My daughter's going away to college. I can't do that.
Yes.
Well, yes. And then we have to assure them that we will, this is part of this program. You become a scholar. You are a scholar.
Yes.
You are an HSF alumni. And that makes me very proud. You're having impact in the community. We were able to help you, and you're helping our community through the Her Money Moves program. And I love that.
Thank you. I also wanted to touch on the chambers, because you ran the U.S. Hispanic Chamber of Commerce.
A lot of fun. Yes, I was the chair of the U.S. Hispanic Chamber of Commerce in 2000. So a little time ago, but I was the first elected woman chair of that chamber. And I say the first elected because I had been an appointment of a woman. I think she was there for 6 months, years before, but I actually had a campaign and 3 women ran for that position. Very exciting. And I will tell you, it was challenging because I was Puerto Rican. And I will say, truthfully, I was challenged because they said, majority of our business owners are Mexican American, and I am all about inclusion, right? Mm-hmm. We are a community. We're not monolithic, but we are a community, and we have to empower each other. And so when I was elected the chair of the USHEC. My first order of business, I was taking the board, having a board meeting in Mexico, which was very exciting. And then we went to Costa Rica, and then I traveled all over the country, but helping small businesses meet with corporate America so they can get procurement opportunities. So that was very exciting. George Herrera was the CEO and I was the board chair. And we had a lot of fun. We had a TV program at the time, Hispanics Today. And that was just a wonderful thing to do. And then Nina Vaca became chair several years later, and she's a terrific friend. She's a member of LCDA. She was one of the founding members of LCDA. Oh. So it's a small world, right?
It is a small world.
It just, you never know how these things work out. It's, again, relationship building, relationships that come around. Nelly Galan is a friend that I've known since she was 19 years old. She became a producer in Hollywood, and I was her mentor. She's a very successful woman. She lives around the corner from me now. She was on the board of HSF as well. She did films, and she's still producing. So I think what's clear to me is you never discount anyone along your journey, right? Because your journey is important. You never know if that person cleaning that floor is going to be the next CEO. You never know, right? So just build these relationships, be gracious, be polite. And when you are getting there, make sure you make room for your colleagues and Latinas coming along the way. Wow. And be fearless. Be fearless. When they tell you can't do something, set your mind to say, I can do this.
Yeah.
I can do this. Because if you don't believe in yourself, you can't achieve it.
No.
Así es.
And as a small business owner, how can we best leverage those Chamber of Commerce memberships? Because I'm a new entrepreneur and trying to navigate all of this. What is some advice that you can give?
You're a member of the chamber in Dallas?
Houston.
In Houston. Okay. So I would suggest, and I don't know how much time you have, but being a member of any organization is not enough. I say it seriously. Get engaged in a committee. When you get involved in a committee, then you get to meet other members, and they're supported heavily by corporate America and corporations that believe in USHCC. You're building those relationships. When you go to LCDA, interview one of those CEOs, Latino CEOs, and we'll help you. And it's building those relationships. So at USHCC, get engaged in your Houston chamber so you can be elevated as a leader, and then your voice is elevated. Your leadership skills are elevated. The community gets to know you even more. And then corporate America may be listening to you as well. And I mean, that's what I did. I just didn't join. If you join, write a check and that's it. Put nothing in, you get nothing out of it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You have to get engaged. And I learned that early on, but I'll never say yes to anything if I'm not going to be 100%. And I don't have patience for people that just do that, really.
And you aren't fully committed.
Yes, yeah. You have to be committed. And that makes a difference. That makes a difference. I believe it's made the difference for me. And have joy in what you do. And when you have obstacles, hurdles that you have to overcome, it's a learning experience. Make it a learning experience. What did you do right? What did you do wrong? What could you do better? What could you have done better? And do I need to build an ally here somewhere within, this network of people?
You have provided so much good advice and strategies that our audience can take away and really flourish and thrive in their businesses and in their careers and their board journeys. Thank you so much. So before we end the episodes, I always love to ask my guests, what are you dreaming bigger about next?
Oh, I am dreaming that we have a Latino in the White House, that we have more of us present in corporate America all over the country, and that this community is incredible, and I have tremendous faith in our people. So my dreams are that we are leading this country in a quiet way, but I want to see our voices raised everywhere by everyone. So power of our community is incredible. And we just we show up. Que te presente, be present, show up. So that's my dream.
Wow. Well, thank you once again, Elizabeth. It has been such an honor to hear from you. Thank you so much for taking the time. And I know we're going to continue to see and hear great things. And I'm so excited to also host a podcast at LCDA back here in Miami in November.
Absolutely. November 14th through the 16th, LCDA 9th Annual Board Leaders Convening. And we'll see you there, Staci. My pleasure. Her money moves, and you're making it happen.
Thank you.